Hey everybody, so we are heading down to the marina. It is April the 26th, 2024, and the boat's going in next week. Last year was mid-June before we got in because of a ton of reasons, some within my control, but unfortunately many not within my control. We don't have that many projects that we did this year. Before even the cover was off the boat, I did varnish. You saw that. Here are the finished product. I'm very excited. It's not going to match the rest of the boat. That's okay. Maybe the rest of the boat will get done next year. We put some bottom paint on the boat. It might look splotchy to you, and that's because I took the advice of a friend of mine who basically said if I recoat the bottom every year, the entire bottom, then in no time at all I'm going to have so many coats that I'm going to have to take them off. And the best thing to do would be just fill the spots that I need, the wear lines around the water line and anything that's already sloughed off. So that's what we did. I don't think the fish care what it looks like underwater, and so once the boat's in the water, no one will know. Well, last year I put in a deck fitting, and I had to drill a hole in the boat, which was scary, and I found two things. One, the deck has plywood core. Didn't realize that. And secondly, unfortunately, where I drilled those holes, there was a void in the plywood. I just put the fitting in last year, and I ran it last year, and now this year I'm going to fix that up. So I pulled the fitting out. I filled the void with thickened epoxy, and I put epoxy around the wood, the exposed wood, so it would not rot. But one of the challenges is, especially when you're working by yourself, is how do you put a machine screw in and then a nut on the other side, and how do you tighten it if you're only one person? Maz from Sail Life has an interesting idea where he cuts a groove into the bottom of the machine screw and then can do it both from the nut side. I went a little different route. I don't know if mine's right. You can comment. So what I did is I drilled a hole slightly smaller than the machine screw, and then I tapped the fiberglass hole to in this case 1024 for the machine screw. And so when I screw it in and tighten it down, I'm actually screwing into the fiberglass. When that gets tight, then I go underneath and I tighten the nut on the other side. Its technique seems to work. Might be totally wrong. I might be totally screwing things up, but I seem to like it. And please comment. I'd like to know what you think about it. And you look at the rudder here, you can see how far forward it comes. They have a difficult time knowing where to put the lift straps when they're taking it out of the water. And so I added these sling decals that I got off of eBay. I added these on the other day. They're not aesthetically what I would like, and my wife said, "Oh, are they just temporary?" It's like, no, and they'll come off when I want them to come off, but just not yet. Well, there it is on the boat. Just this little pedestal I made. I bought this really cool kind of a half a cam cleat with a fair lead at a used boat store, and I thought it fit the vibe of my boat. When I installed it, I didn't have enough leverage to go up or down, so I built this pedestal out of some leftover teak I had, actually teak from my cousin Ron, and some cedar I had from an old decking to give it kind of that look, you know, that kind of teak and holly look. And well, I have no tension on the other end, but it definitely works now. So this is cool. I'm very excited. So one of the problems that we had last year was this swivel block, which was over here, and the jib sheet was connected to it, and every time I would tack, it would start to twist, and then it would bind up. So this year we put on a soft shackle, but this soft shackle I think is a little too long, so this morning I tied up a smaller soft shackle, and this is 1/4 inch Dyneema, and we'll replace that right now and see how that works. Alright, so here's a new soft shackle, and you can see it's a lot smaller. I'm going to just move up here a little bit. So there we go. Now I will, I'm going to give you a link, little spider. I'm going to give you a link to the video on tying these soft shackles, because it's a whole lot easier than tying a button or a diamond knot. You're just basically tying an overhand knot and a couple of Brummel splices. So one job done. So one of the other problems we noticed is on the mainsail, the battens stick out a little too far, and when you tack, they hang up on the backstay. So I am going to grind these down a little bit, maybe take these caps off and smooth them out, try to get these more flush so I don't have that issue anymore. So as you can see on this batten, this end is nice and rounded, but this end is really squared off. So I brought my little Ryobi cordless Dremel type tool. I'm going to shorten that and round that off a little bit. I also brought a face mask. So the boat has this beast of a cover. And last year I met a gentleman who does canvas work. I talked to him about putting a new one. He said, "Oh no, we can fix yours. It won't cost you very much at all." Well, it cost a fortune, and he did a crappy job. It just didn't really work for what I needed. He put a bunch of straps on, Where he sewed it to the cover, he didn't reinforce it. These are not easily adjustable when it's on the boat. It was just a mess. These hooks don't really fit. There it is. These hooks don't really fit. The pad eyes, it was just a mess. So I'm replacing all of these with bungee. And let me see if I can find one I've done already. So here's one I've done. There were grommets in there already, so I just used the existing grommet. Bungee around the grommet. I used a hog ring in here, and then I shrunk wrap. And then on the other end, we just have this cam jam, whatever they call it. And again, just a little bit of, okay, there we go. Cam jam, a knot, and a little bit of shrink wrap at the end.